There is a long list of things that make the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise absolutely terrifying, whether it's the long list of games or the never-ending lore that still isn't solved, even to this day. Terrifying animatronic creatures, the ambiance you hear in every single game, whatever it is, you name it, Five Nights at Freddy's has it. I don't even have to be the one to tell you this. The fears of this franchise go far beyond the creator of Scott Cawthon, and it branches all the way down to the fans. It's made some absolutely terrifying games in here, terrifying fan fiction, and even a lot of terrifying stories that'll leave chills on you. There is one popular trend that seems to be growing throughout the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom, and that's the analog horror. There is more than enough Five Nights at Freddy's analog horror out there that'll keep you up for days. Those of you that are unfamiliar with analog horror, it's basically like just really creepy images that are played in like VHS style. If you really look at it, it fits the Five Nights at Freddy's universe so perfectly. It seems as though the majority of the franchise is played early in the 80s and the 90s, where VHS tapes are very popular. It fits really perfectly with it. I mentioned an ongoing trend right now in the horror genre is analog horror, which seems to be growing by the day, and it's only a matter of time before there's a theatrical release of an actual analog horror movie out there, but that's besides the point. Five Nights at Freddy's seems to have a new home in fandom, and it's an analog horror. Apparently what they're called in this is called the VHS tapes, and if you're unfamiliar with the VHS tapes, these VHS tapes can vary from training videos to midnight searches throughout different Freddy Fazbear's Pizza out there, or as much as even trying to capture the spirits that haunt the animatronics in Freddy Fazbear's. There are several, and I'm saying several different types of analog horror. There are VHS tapes, I should call it, for Five Nights at Freddy's, and there's so many, and I'm going to get into each and every one of them in later videos, but today I wanted to tackle on one of the more terrifying installments in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and that's the fourth game. Now, I know I'm starting all the way at the bottom right here with the fourth game, and I really should be starting with the original, but I was looking through my YouTube recommendations today, just so happened to come across quite a few of the fourth one, and they were absolutely terrifying, and honestly, the fourth game is probably the scariest installment of the entire series, so I think it's fitting that we start off this analog horror trend with the fourth game. There are various different creators on YouTube that make these analog horror videos, and it take a lot of time and dedication to make these as perfectly as possible, and not to mention as terrifying as possible, so I will be crediting a majority of the creators that made these videos, because they're very talented individuals and they deserve the recognition. There are a few FNAF 4 VHS tapes that I want to cover in this video, the first of which being from a username called Velox, and it's called Night Terrors. It was uploaded just 3 weeks ago as a rather new release, and if you're unfamiliar with the creator of Velox, he makes a lot of analog horror or VHS tapes for the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, and he's one of the more talented ones out there. He's very consistent with his work and makes absolutely terrifying and bone-chilling videos. Just so you know, for the remainder of this video, I'm going to be referring to the analog horror as VHS tapes, because in the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom, we don't call it analog horror, it's called VHS tapes. So without further ado, let's dive into Night Terror. Right off the bat, we're starting with a very chilling entrance. It seems like there's an x-ray of a child's head, and in the bottom of the text, 14 seconds in, you can see Dream Visualizer activate, and then you can see him advancing right into the child's bedroom. Those of you that are unfamiliar with the FNAF 4 game, the entire game takes place in the child's bedroom, and this child happens to be the victim of the bite of 1982 from Fredbear. Throughout the game, it is very clear that these kids cannot escape these horrifying nightmares as you play 7 different nights with these animatronics coming at you. Obviously, in the fourth game, the animatronics are nightmarish. They're not actually real, because this is all taking place in the mind of a child. And this video by Velox absolutely takes the cake perfectly, as we're introduced to the setting of the main game right here on the analog horror. It seems like he wakes up to an alarm that was set for him, and you can see inside of his room. It's very dimly lit with only a lamp in the right corner, but he has a flashlight to see around his room. Most notably, you can hear the ambiance from the fourth game with the father clock that's going on in the background. And at the very beginning, whenever you're looking at the x-ray, you can hear the sped up phone calls from phone guy. Off the bat right here, the child goes to the left side of the door where Bonnie typically is in the video game, and you can see Bonnie walking down the hallway until he notices you. He literally runs right towards you, and it's absolutely chilling. While he's trying to open the door, you have to find a way to keep it closed, and it's absolutely terrifying to hear this happening in the background. I'm not exactly sure what animatronic this is, but it's absolutely terrifying. I love the fact that you're taking the POV of the actual child in the video game, and you can see exactly what he's doing. In the game, you can move up to the closet, but you can only go to the door. Right here in this video, video, they're showing that you can go inside of the closet, and it's absolutely terrifying knowing this. Whenever you were a child, you were absolutely afraid of the dark, and these animatronic characters definitely were a child's worst nightmare, and seeing it happen in a VHS tape just makes it all the more creepy. And the child's hiding inside of the closet. He's absolutely terrified because you can literally hear what sounds like a very large animatronic going in and out of the room, and you can see right through the little blinds of the closet door that he's in there with his really loud footsteps. Now, it's unclear what animatronic this is that's infiltrating the child's room. My best guess is that it's Fredbear because of the large size of what it is, but I could be wrong. As you can see, once Fredbear leaves the room, you can see Foxy peeking out of the closet and eventually jumping at you. But the most terrifying part about this isn't the fact that he jumps at you, it's the fact that as soon as he does, you wake up from what feels like another nightmare, and the video ends with the label Night Terrors. This video is absolutely terrifying, and for the many different reasons. Number one, I think it captures the room absolutely perfectly, and it feels just like the video game you're playing, but with more free roaming in there. The animatronic characters, despite only seeing Bonnie and Foxy and a glimpse of what seems like Fredbear in the background, is absolutely terrifying. I think Velox absolutely captures the moment in the perfect way possible, and it's really bone-chilling. The most terrifying part, honestly, though, is the fact that whenever Foxy presumably kills a child, he wakes back up in another dream, and it's clear that he can't escape these endless nightmares. Like I said, I think the fourth Five Nights at Freddy's game is the scariest amongst the entire game, not only by the design of the characters, but mainly the fact that you have to rely solely on your sense of hearing, which absolutely puts you on your toes, and if you ever get jump scared in that game, it's absolutely mind-blowing. The video is just so perfectly done, and I find it to be one of the creepier ones out there. Honestly, you're sitting in the mind of a child throughout the game, but in this video, it feels like you're actually portraying him. Like I said, as a child, we grew up absolutely terrified of the dark, and these animatronic creatures absolutely fit it perfectly, and the fact that one was hiding in the closet while you were in the closet and Foxy just makes it that much more scary. I highly recommend you check this video out. I'll put a link in the description below for the video itself, and you can view it yourself. Alright, the next video up is titled Old Nightmare.mp4, and it's uploaded by Meme Bear. This one is a lot shorter than the previous video, lasting only 50 seconds. It's a little bit shorter. You still can capture the feel of the fourth game and how it's absolutely terrifying. As you can see right here, the video literally opens up with it feels like it was taken directly out of the game, with a few more polished notes right here. The child's looking around the room and he hears obviously something going on. He turns around and he sees the Fredbear plush, which is actually not featured in the game. As he continues to turn around, it turns into the Fredbear's head, which you can see in the game, and eventually this happens. The ending is just as bone-chilling as anything else. The fact that we get to see Fredbear and his normal self on stage talking while we absolutely tell that this is the absolute animatronic that ended up causing the bomb in 1982 is absolutely terrifying. As a child, I literally would be scared to death of this thing, let alone if it bit me in the head and caused some damage to my frontal lobe and having reoccurring nightmares of this. Honestly, I would be more terrified of the animatronic looking normal than I would with a nightmarish look. But anyway, you could see here him just talking, and it's absolutely bone-chilling. Eventually, he just opens his mouth and these really weird and creepy sounds come up in the background, and it's just absolutely terrifying. It literally cuts to gray, and that's it. It just ends. That's absolutely terrifying. This final video is titled FNAF VHS Nightmare.mp4, and it's uploaded by Fright Bear Found. Without further ado, let's get right into it. While this video is short and sweet, it is absolutely terrifying. As we could see at the start of the video, we look to the right hallway, and we could see easily what looks like one of the Nightmare Fredbears at the very end of the hallway. As he gets closer, this terrifying music comes up like it imitates in the game. In the game, you get this sound. The video, you get this weird music in the background, which just adds to a really creepy and eerie level to it. Once it's over, we get to see a little glimpse of what looks like toy Fredbear under a little flashing light that just keeps blinking in and out, and eventually the video just ends. Like I said, these videos are rather short and sweet, but they really do get the job done in a very sophisticated and also very scary way. This video in particular is one of the scarier ones out there, but Velox at the beginning of this video absolutely takes the cake. It's the most terrifying one out there. While there are very few FNAF 4 VHS tapes, I think they capture the moment and the video game absolutely perfectly. Like I said, there are many different VHS tapes to uncover in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, but in my opinion, the fourth one is the absolute scariest to go along with the games. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and make sure to check out all three of the content creators I mentioned in this video. They absolutely work their asses off to make the most terrifying and best videos they can for you guys, and it absolutely works in my opinion. I genuinely do enjoy these videos, and if the creators are watching this video, keep up the good work. You guys are really doing a good job. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you liked the video, leave a like. Go ahead and comment below the next video you want me to watch with you, and I'll see you in the next one.